We're joined now by the former editor of The Independent, Chris Blackhurst. Good morning, Chris, from one Chris to the next, if you're there, Chris. What really just struck me then was Christopher Hope saying that James Cleverly in Rwanda is the first step. And I just want to go, are you kidding me? The first step? This feels like that we've been walking a marathon for years on this. How can this be the first step, Chris?
It's the first step to get a new treaty signed, but it's, of course, just the beginning of what's going to be a long, drawn-out process. And, it'll go into the Commons, it'll go into the Lords, and it's going to drag on and on and on.
Chris, I was at the Conservative Home reception last night in Westminster, and I was talking about this earlier. I didn't find anyone who actually thought there was a prospect of a plane going to Rwanda before May or June, and I'm increasingly of the view that the election will be in the summer because of the small boats problem.
I think you're right. I don't see this getting through before the next election. And what's incredible about this really is that we're only dealing with such a small number of people. I mean, the actual overall migration is colossal, and this is now costing a fortune. They're going to station lawyers in Rwanda. I mean, British lawyers are going to now be based in Rwanda. They're throwing so much money at this, and it's crazy. It's going to take forever.
Should they throw in the towel, Chris? Is that the point? Or has the Prime Minister invested too much authority on it now?
Well, I think that's a very good point. This Prime Minister, as we both know, he's somebody who likes to stamp his foot and, what's the phrase, has the odd hissy fit, and which he did over the Elgin Marbles, and things become a point of principle for Rishi. And he can't be backed down. I mean, I still cannot believe there isn't an easier solution than flying people all the way to Rwanda. That's what's getting the human rights lawyers going. I mean, it just seems extreme, and I just can't believe there isn't an easier solution. I've never seen all the options laid out.
We was talking to a human rights lawyer earlier, actually, who was saying that he believes that they could solve this issue by having an online application system where you apply for asylum in the country in which you are currently residing. And at that point, the government here can decide whether you are allowed over or you are not. And he said that would stop the boats overnight. But he thought that the government aren't doing that because they use this issue to make political capital, and it's in their interest. We're talking about the boat people as opposed to talking about the NHS or the education or the legal migration. But I think that's a bit of a stretch, do you?
Yeah.
No, I don't actually. I think that there is an element of that. I think the whole small boats issue has become so overblown, and the numbers are actually small. Now, you could argue that if we don't stop the small boats, the numbers become huge. But when you look at the legal migration, 700,000, that's colossal. And if an online system works, I'm not sure. I mean, the idea of, what happens? People sit in Calais and fill in forms and then come across. I'm not sure how that works. But,
well, you could fill it in from Eritrea. You could fill it in from Syria. Well, you could go to the embassy in those countries and use their tech facility if you don't have them. Like, there are ways to make this happen, and it should be dead easy.
In theory, although if you're a genuine, let's get this clear. If you're a genuine legal asylum seeker, you're not someone who probably can go to embassies and fill in forms. I mean, in theory, your life's in danger.
Countries and get in a dinghy, like there is access to technology on your way.
Well, okay, but to actually present yourself with authorities, and I don't know. Look, all I know is I'm absolutely certain that there must be an easier way than this, and it's now costing. I mean, the figure I've just read, the government's put another £140 million into this. Well, let's do the maths. That's a hell of a lot per migrant, and we're only really talking about, in the end, it'll probably be a few hundred people. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Chris, just we're coming up to whether the election is May or June or whenever. Do you think migration, because we've had Tory MPs in the studio all week saying that it's the number 1 issue now on the doorstep, do you think it is, or will it still be the cost of living crisis and the economy?
All the people I know who are involved in private polling for the main parties, the number 1 issue in this country traditionally, and probably still is the NHS. The NHS and the economy. It will play big. Oh, look, there's towns outside London where, I think of my hometown, which is Barrow-in-Furness in Cumbria. They've had a hotel in the centre of the town that's been taken over by migrants, and all properly done, but it's caused a lot of resentment in the town. It is a big issue. Whether it's bigger than overall than the NHS economy, cost of living, I very much doubt.
OK.
Right. That's Chris Black.
Thank you, Chris.
Former editor of The Independent. Great to talk to you.